Long before the skyscrapers and bustling streets, Hong Kong was a very different place. For centuries, it was a collection of small fishing villages scattered along the coastline. The people lived simple lives, dependent on the sea for their livelihood. Archaeological evidence suggests that people have lived in the region for thousands of years, but it was during the Song dynasty from 960 to 1279 AD that more permanent settlements began to appear. These early inhabitants were primarily Tanka people, known for their distinctive boat-dwelling lifestyle. The Tanka were skilled fishermen and navigators, perfectly adapted to life on the water. They lived aboard their junks, fishing in the bountiful waters surrounding the islands. Life was challenging, subject to the whims of the sea and the seasons, but the Tanka people thrived in their unique environment. The land itself was hilly and infertile, not ideal for large-scale agriculture. This, combined with the prevalence of piracy in the region, meant that Hong Kong remained relatively isolated for centuries. The few settlements that did exist were small and self-sufficient, with limited contact with the outside world. However, this isolation would not last forever. As China's interactions with the West increased, so too did interest in Hong Kong's strategic location. This burgeoning interest, primarily driven by trade and the lucrative opium trade, would ultimately lead to a dramatic shift in Hong Kong's fate. The arrival of the British in the 19th century would forever alter the course of the island's history. By the early 1800s, the British East India Company had established a dominant presence in the region, fueled by their profitable but controversial opium trade. The Qing dynasty, however, sought to curtail this trade, viewing it as a dangerous and destabilizing force within China. This clash of interests led to a series of conflicts known as the Opium Wars. The First Opium War, from 1839 to 1842, saw Britain's superior naval power prevail. The Treaty of Nanking, which ended the war, forced China to cede Hong Kong Island to the British in perpetuity. This marked the beginning of British colonial rule in Hong Kong, a period that would last for over 150 years. The British quickly established Hong Kong as a free port, eager to capitalize on its strategic location for trade. They developed Victoria City, named after Queen Victoria, as the colony's administrative and commercial center. The city grew rapidly, attracting merchants, traders, and adventurers from all corners of the globe. The Second Opium War, from 1856 to 1860, further consolidated British control, resulting in the cession of the Kowloon Peninsula to Britain. This expansion provided more space for the burgeoning colony and solidified Hong Kong's position as a key entrepot in East Asia. The British also implemented a system of colonial administration, introducing Western legal and educational systems to the territory. Under British administration, Hong Kong underwent a period of dramatic transformation. The once sleepy fishing villages were rapidly replaced by a modern city complete with bustling ports, grand Victorian architecture, and a diverse population. This rapid development was fueled by trade, with Hong Kong serving as a gateway between China and the West. The colonial government implemented policies aimed at maintaining order and facilitating economic growth. They invested in infrastructure, building roads, railways, and a modern harbour. They also established a legal system based on British common law, which fostered a stable and predictable business environment. This attracted foreign investment and helped to establish Hong Kong as a major financial centre. However, British rule was not without its challenges. The influx of migrants from mainland China led to overcrowding and social tensions. The colonial government faced criticism for its discriminatory policies, which favoured the British and other Europeans over the local Chinese population. Despite these issues, Hong Kong continued to grow and prosper, becoming a melting pot of cultures and a symbol of East meets West dynamism. The outbreak of World War II cast a long shadow over Hong Kong. In December 1941, Japanese forces invaded, marking the beginning of a brutal occupation that would last for 3 years and 8 months. The Battle of Hong Kong was fierce but short-lived, with the outnumbered and outgunned British forces ultimately forced to surrender. The Japanese occupation was a dark period in Hong Kong's history. The city suffered from food shortages, economic hardship, and widespread human rights abuses. The Japanese military government imposed strict control, censoring the press, restricting movement, and exploiting the local population. Many residents fled to mainland China or other parts of Asia, while those who remained faced a daily struggle for survival. The liberation of Hong Kong in 1945 was met with jubilation, but the city was a shadow of its former self. The infrastructure was damaged, the economy was in tatters, and the population was depleted. However, the people of Hong Kong displayed remarkable resilience, rebuilding their lives and their city with determination. The post-war years saw a renewed influx of migrants from China seeking refuge from the turmoil of the Chinese Civil War. This influx of labor and capital would fuel Hong Kong's remarkable economic recovery and set the stage for its transformation into a global economic powerhouse.